Hi, I'm Ön Svanström, a UX and product designer. The other day when I woke up, I noticed that the Facebook Messenger app had changed color from blue to blue to blue and pink. And I was like, this is fantastic. The Facebook Messenger team has obviously reached a whole new level of personalization. How do they know that my personal favorite combination of colors is pink and blue together? Yay, team. Good on ya. This is a good user experience to know everyone's favorite colors. But apparently, they are not superhuman quite yet, and the design team made this change for everyone. But to celebrate this lovely revamped app icon, today we are doing a UX Redesign challenge. Make sure to take a look down in the description where I have made a Figma document just for you so that you also can take this challenge and become a better designer. Let's do this. So the first part of our 3-step challenge is to recreate Messenger from a screenshot. And why would you want to do that? Because when you take a look at the details in a very talented design team's product like Messenger, you will find so many good practices at play in a real service. I'm talking about grids. I'm talking about the little nuances that can make a world of difference in making a good design. So depending on how much time you have, I have 2 routes for you. If you have all day and want to really go for it, take a screenshot of your app, place it in the document, and just go to town without any help. But if you don't have all day and still want to practice your design skills, I'd recommend going for option B, going into the Figma community tab right here and search for Facebook Messenger. And right here, we can see that Pixels have made a fantastic kit. So just duplicate that into your Figma repository. I'm gonna give them a like, or if you just copy the file that I have down below in the description, you will have these resources. And as you can see here, a lot of the screens are already here. But what's so fun about doing this for an app like Messenger is that they work really iteratively with their design. They iterate on it all the time. And this app is an app that changes from week to week. So this is a challenge that will stay relevant forever and ever, because so much changes in the Messenger app because they're constantly testing new things out and keeping what works, which I think is the best way to work as a designer. Make something, ship it, test it, change it. Okay, let's start with the second tab, the People tab. I am going to insert a screenshot. There we go. I've inserted and censored a screenshot from my Messenger app. And now what I'm gonna do is I am going to copy this asset that has where I can change everything, and I'm going to make it look like my version of the app. And as you can see, there are some subtle differences, like they've made changes to the header, they don't have the wave button anymore. So I'm gonna make a copy of the design asset and put it over here. Okie dokie, and start making the changes that I can see. If you hit Shift R, that brings out your rulers, and that can be really useful to see where stuff should be placed. And this should say stories. And there are 25 stories, and there is no button, no new message button, so I'll get rid of that. So these rulers are great, but I would also encourage you to try to find the pixel grid that they are using. And what am I talking about? Pixel grid. Over here, you can add a layout grid to your artboard, and it gives you these lots of little rulers, and these are spaced out 8 pixels apart. And you can see that these fall in nicely. The buttons are also placed kind of within that grid. You can, here on grids, you can also change this to a column grid and play around with that. So this does not appear to be the grid they are working with. So you can change it up and be like, no, wait, maybe there's a 16-point margin on the outside. Yeah, that looks right. Nothing is outside here. This doesn't really look like a good grid. As far as I can tell, Facebook are working with a 4-point pixel grid. Now that is a tiny, tiny grid, but when I apply that grid, everything sort of works. Everything is like placed on grid. And why would you use such a tiny pixel grid? Well, because Facebook is Facebook. They are designing for every single phone out there, and it has to look good on super small screens and on big screens. So that's why I believe that they are using a quite small grid to be able to scale their designs to more devices. And if you're not Facebook, you don't have to use such a small grid, but for them, every pixel counts. But they're still using a grid. It's not just like placing stuff wherever they feel like it. So I will also, on my screen over here, put a 4-pixel grid, and you can see that the image is right on the grid. What's really important is that your artboards are perfectly top aligned with each other, so that you don't put out these rulers in the wrong place, which I apparently did. Just 1 pixel off is gonna screw everything up, and everything will be much harder to work out, and you will trick yourself into believing something about other people's design. So just mark your artboards like this and hit this top align button, and they will be perfectly aligned. So now we can see that this active button is perfectly on grid over here. You can see that that's on grid, that's on grid, this is on grid, yeah, and this is also 16 from the edge. So they are using a 16 pixel margin at the edges. So I'm just adding 2 columns on each side to make sure I can show you that they are working on those are the margins that they have on either side. 16 pixels there, 16 pixels there. Every number you'll see in this video will be dividable by 4. Now this can look a little bit cluttered when you're looking at it like this, so you can either just like close that eye and you won't see the pixel grid, or what you can do, which I do a lot, is use Control G to show and hide the layout grid. So now these people are a little strangely placed in this list. So I can hit that organize, the tidy up button right here, boom. And when I've done that, you see these circles, and if I want to reorganize them now, just grab a circle and you can replace them. Cool. And with this separator, you can decide how much spacing you want, but we want 0. When you have a list like this, that's also like the perfect use case of an auto layout. So I'll just hit auto layout, and when I've done that, and I mark Kieran, I can just move him in this list, and he will stay in there. Yay! Okay, so now I've made the 3 main views of the Messenger app. Here is the main view, the chats view. So here's the asset that I got. Here is a screenshot of what my version of the app looks like. And here is my recreated version of what my app looks like. I've also gone a little overboard and done a few of these as scrollable prototypes so that it behaves the same way as Messenger does. So it's search, it's like that, and then search comes out when you scroll up. So some of the unexpected things that I found when I was doing this that brought me joy, now we're talking details, is that when you are when you hit that new message button, nowadays it looks like this. So you choose your people. This is what my screenshot looks like, and this is my copy. And just there's like a few little things that really brought me joy. So that rounded corner right there has a roundness of 10, and the other one has a roundness of 9. Just that it's one less makes the depth perspective more believable to the eye. And that's a really, really cool detail that I would not have noticed if I had not gone into such detail with this recreation. It is now time for challenge 2, which is making some changes. So the first thing that you want to do when you're going to make any design change whatsoever is to formulate a problem. And I like to start my problem statement with, I have observed that. So I've observed that it is difficult, good band name, difficult. I have observed that it's difficult to find group chats that I've had previously. So when you're thinking about your own service that you're working with, you wouldn't just say, I have observed that this is hard. You would say, I have observed through user testing that it can be difficult to find group chats that you have previously been chatting in. But since this is a project I'm doing just for my own design practice's sake, it's enough to say I have observed that this is difficult, and it's based on my own experience. And that's a good place to start. But when you're doing this at work, make sure that you have some data to back up the design changes you want to make. So I'm going to sketch out some ideas on how we could improve findability of group chats. Right now, the structure of the app, there are 2 tabs. There are chats and there are people. Me personally, I haven't really understood what the people tabs is good for, just like seeing who's active. It's not as if I'm only gonna talk to people based on who's active. I'm gonna talk to whomever I actually want to talk to, and they'll see the message when they see it. So that active tab isn't really doing it for me. Okay, so never mind that. Let's do something else. Instead of it being chats and people, what if it's chats and groups? There's no spell check in Figma. Designers don't need to spell. Anyways, so maybe we right here have some groups. So this would be a list of just all the groups that you're in, like that you've chatted to, and it would just be like in chronological order when you spoke to them. So that's something I want to try, just to have groups instead of people, because that would be more useful for me, because I chat a lot in groups. Like, that's one of the great things about Messenger, is like all of my Facebook friends are there. So I can also introduce people to each other, and they don't have to be friends, but they can still talk. So groups is really, really useful for me. Also, I want to, in search here, be able to search for a group. So if I search for Johnny, Ylva, my search result will be all of these groups that have both Johnny and Ylva in them. So a comma search means people. When I do this in the app, I get hits on groups where maybe Johnny is in there, but Ylva is mentioned in text. When I search like this, I want to find these people. Okay, so here are my 2 different ideas that I want to bring into challenge number 3. We're going to make those wireframe sketches that we just made blend seamlessly into the design of Facebook Messenger app. Because since this is a UX redesign challenge, we are not allowed to change the look of the app, but we want our design changes to blend in seamlessly with what's already there. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, so our first one is to have a menu option for groups. I'm gonna take what I did in challenge 1 and take this chats page, and here is a list that has both people and groups in it. Now, the way I imagine my groups tab, so let me change this text right here, and I don't want these active blah blah blahs. I just want the people to be right up here, and here I will copy this, mark that and paste, and then I'm going to get rid of the image back there, and I will stick new people in here. It's very sneaky of me to just use the same icon as they use for people but call it groups. But hey, it's a good icon for groups, what can I say? Ta-da! We have a groups page. Groups! Look at this, this looks good. So now we have a list of our groups, and it should be sorted chronologically, which I see that I've messed it up. Today is Saturday, so this should be also Sat, and this is Sat, and then the day before Sat is Fry. This can be Thursday, and just like that, we have groups. So this, for me, makes way more sense because here is just all the groups, and then here on chats is everything mixed, but here I can just find the groups. Okay, let's do search for a group containing 2 specific people. Now, in the assets, there wasn't a search view. Let me insert a screenshot of what search looks like. Boom. Search is like this. I've censored it a little bit. And as you can see, I'm not using the regular keyboard, I'm using Swift key, which is a really good keyboard where you can mix Swedish and English inside. No, I'm not sponsored. I just think that Apple should get their shit together and not have me switch back and forth between my different languages. If you speak more than one language, you are gonna switch interchangeably in some sentences. I'm not doing that to you because I'm assuming you don't all speak Swedish, but to my Swedish peeps, hej! Trevligt att ni är här! Now, I want to recreate this with magic. Ta-da! And what changes do I want to make? Well, now, when I search for, and I write something here in the search bar, so I write Johnny, comma, Eva. So that's my cursor. And now what do I want to happen down here when I have typed 2 people's names? Okay, so Sirashes, searches. No, I want these. I like that this is here, but now that I've typed some people in, maybe that should just disappear, go bye-bye. And this should say groups. Here will only be groups where these 2 people, that have these 2 people in them. These make any sense. These selector rings. You can't message several groups at a time the way you can with people and select many people to go into a group. Okay, so what have we done? In our first challenge, we recreated Messenger from screenshots. And here we can see the chats page Over here we have new message, the asset, the screenshot, and my copy. We have the people page where, oh wait, that should say people. So make sure to take breaks whenever you're like, I wonder why they did that, and Google things. Like, I took a lovely detour into reading articles about pixel grids and the different variations of grids that are out there. And that's what this exercise is all about, that you get new ideas about what to Google to further your design education. In challenge number 2, I sketched out changes that I would like to make to the Messenger app. So based on my observations about what's difficult to do in the Messenger app today, I sketched out alternative flows of how the app could work. First one was how to, like, an alternative structure where it's chats and groups in the menu. And the second one was an adaptation to how search works, so that when you search for 2 people, you find all the groups that they are in. And then in challenge number 3, we took what we had sketched and we brought it up to the same design UI standards as the rest of the Messenger app. So here is the wireframe and here is the design for a groups page that just has all the groups that in chronological order. Saturday, Friday. Yes. So here are just all groups in chronological order on that page. And that's all that page does. Fabulous page. I like it. I want it. And I have also updated the search. So here is a screenshot of what search looks like. Here is what search, here is my Figma version of search. And here is the functionality that I wish was in Messenger app. And maybe it will be by the time you watch this video, because they change stuff so fast. So when you type in 2 people separated by a comma, it will show me all the groups that they are in together with me. This concludes this UX redesign. I hope you have fun with the 3 challenges that I have set up in the Figma file that you can find below. Have a great couple of weeks and I'll see you soon. Bye!